Hello, second graders, and welcome to the first math lesson that we are going to be doing on Google Classroom. So today we are going to be introducing a new chapter. We're going to be starting with lesson 11.7, which is partition of rectangles. So what we're going to be learning in this chapter is we're going to be learning how to take a shape and partition it or break it up into smaller but equal sized pieces. Okay, so that's kind of what partitioning means, and partitioning is actually a very good way to introduce a bigger concept like fractions. We're not going to be covering a lot of actual fractions in our math lessons, but we are going to be introducing ourselves to breaking apart a shape or a whole into smaller little pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this video that we're going to do activities with throughout. So what I want you to do now is I want you to just watch the video and kind of go through some of the activities that it has with me. All right, so here we go.
Hi there! It's a beautiful day at the river. Sometimes children like to come sit on this bench and fish here. The seat of the bench is wearing out, isn't it? Click the bench and we'll see what we can do about that.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click the bench.
Maybe we could cover the bench seat with square tiles. It looks like 5 square tiles fit across, and 2 square tiles fit down. That would make the bench look nice. Hey, I wonder how many squares it would take. Come on, let's learn more about covering a rectangle with same-size squares.
How can you put these color tiles together to make two-dimensional shapes? Click the tiles to show one way.
Okay, so we're going to click the tiles.
Let's trace around this two-dimensional shape. How are the tiles arranged to make this shape? There is a row of 3 tiles along the bottom, then another row of 3 tiles, and a row of 2 tiles along the top. How many sides does the shape have? Click to remove the tiles and count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This shape has 6 sides. Can you make a different shape with 8 tiles? Click the tiles to show another way. Let's trace around the new shape. This shape has a row of 3 tiles along the bottom, then a row of 2 tiles, and a row of 3 tiles along the top. How many sides does the shape have? Click to remove the tiles and count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The shape has 8 sides. What would you need to make the shape a square? If you had one more tile, you could make a square with 3 rows of 3 tiles each. You can't make a square with 8 tiles. Can you make a rectangle with 8 tiles? Click the tiles to give it a try. Use color tiles to cover this rectangle. How can you put these color tiles together to make two-dimensional shapes?
Friends, sorry for the technical difficulties. I accidentally jumped ahead, but I'm going to click the tiles over here now, and we're going to see if we can make a rectangle out of these tiles.
Trace around this two-dimensional shape. This shape has a row of 4 tiles along the bottom and a row of 4 tiles along the top. How do you know the shape is a rectangle? It has 4 sides. The pairs of sides across from each other match. So the shape is a rectangle.
So one thing to just keep in mind, remember too, with all of these shapes, they used these squares, and look at the squares that they used. They're pretty much all the same size, exactly the same size. They're all the same shape. So remember, we're partitioning, or we're breaking apart these objects into smaller pieces but equal pieces. So again, all these squares that made this object and this object and this object, they are all the same size and the same shape. That's very important to remember.
Use colored tiles to cover this rectangle. One tile is already in place. Drag more tiles until the rectangle is full, then check your work.
Okay, so I'm just going to drag equal sized squares until the whole rectangle is filled. And now my rectangle is filled. So let's check.
Notice that the sides of the tiles all touch and don't overlap. Notice also that in the rectangle, the tiles are arranged in rows and columns. The rows go from side to side. How many rows of square tiles are on the rectangle? Select the correct answer.
So remember, rows go from side to side. So we have one row here, we have another row here, so that's 2, and then we have a third row. So in total, we have 3 rows.
That's right. There are 3 rows. Columns go from top to bottom. How many columns of square tiles are on the rectangle?
Okay, so columns again, they go up and down. So we have one column here, and we have another column here. So if you thought 2 columns, you were correct. Nice job.
Yes, there are 2 columns of tiles. So what's the total number of square tiles that cover this rectangle?
So then for this one, we are looking for the total number of square tiles. So we're just going to count all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 6 is our answer for total square tiles.
Good job! The total number of square tiles is 6. Now let's practice with the personal math trainer.
All right, so Mary started to cover this rectangle with ones blocks. Complete the description below. There are blank columns of ones blocks. So remember, again, columns go up and down. So 1 column, 2 column, and we have 3 columns. So our answer is going to be 3. There are blank blocks in each row. So remember, rows go from left to right or side to side. So we have, this is a row right here, and it's asking how many blocks are in each row. So each row has the same number of blocks. It has 1, 2, 3 blocks. So our answer for this one is 3. Now it says if Mary adds 2 more rows of ones blocks, there will be blank blocks covering the rectangle. So we're going to make an estimate. We don't really know for sure, but we can look based on the size of the squares in the rectangle. So it's asking if Mary adds 2 more rows of ones blocks, there will be blank blocks covering the rectangle. So if we added 2 more rows of 3, so that would be 6, right? Because 3 and then 3 is 6. So if we added 6 more up here, plus all these over here, we can count 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 blocks. Trying to get the answer here.
If Mary adds 2 more rows of 1's blocks, there will be blank blocks covering the rectangle.
So it's not letting me type in my answer. But we'll just have to, maybe we'll hit next and see what happens. Okay, so the rectangle is covered by tiles. Enter how many. So this one, again, we're just going to count. Oh, I'm sorry, we're actually going to use Okay, so it's not really letting me enter any kind of tiles, but that's okay. We can just count them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it's asking the number of rows is, remember rows go from side to side, so we have 1 row and we have 2 rows. And the number of columns is, those go up and down, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And how many tiles are covering the rectangle in all? We already counted them and we said 8, right? So I'm gonna click that one and let's check our answers.
Great work!
Nice. Okay. Right, and so now we're going to move on.
Now try your homework on your own with the personal math trainer. It includes the exercise you saw at the beginning of the lesson.
Okay, so what I would like you guys to do is I'm going to post pictures of this exact screen that you see here. And what I would like you guys to do is you guys are going to write down your answers. So for question 1, just write the number 1, okay? And then you don't have to write full sentences. You can just write maybe like however many rows you see. So if you see 8 rows, you could say 8 rows. And then for columns, you can write 3 columns. Okay, and then you can write, if you see 10 total tiles, you can just say 10 tiles. Okay, but so what I want you to do is I want you to just grab a piece of paper and I want you to look at the pictures. I'm going to post these pictures on our Google Classroom, and you guys are just going to go through them and try them on your own. And then what I would like you to do is I would like you to try and take a picture, if you can, take a picture of your work and then post it to the Google Classroom. And I'll open that up for you so that way you can attach your pictures of your work to the Google Classroom. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to do a little bit of PowerPoint slides for you to kind of teach you a little bit more about this and give you some more examples. And we are going to be doing that in the next video. So I will see you in the next video.